The very first lesson that we did, we talked about using a tool that helps us to subtract multiples of 10. Does anybody remember what tool that was? That's right, they were place value blocks. We use place value blocks to subtract tens. And we also talked about how that an equation such as 4 take away 1 could help us solve 40 take away 10. So we related the ones and the tens as well. And yesterday we talked about a different strategy. Does anybody remember what strategy that is? That's right, the 100 chart. And let's look at our 100 chart here. There's our 100 chart with our numbers 1 to 100. And we talked about how that when we have a subtraction equation, we start with the first number. That first number is the whole. That's right, we start with the whole. And because we are subtracting, do the numbers get bigger or smaller? That's right, they get smaller because when you subtract, you take away. So we are starting with the first number, the whole, and then we are subtracting, so that means we are traveling up or down the column in a 100 chart. Up, that's right, because the numbers get smaller as we go up, and when you go up, you count by tens. So, for example, if we had 50 take away 20, how many times would we go up? That's right, 2 times, because 2 tens is the same as 20. So 50 take away 10, 20 equals 30. So 50 take away 20 equals 30. And that's how we use a 100 chart to solve subtraction equations when we're subtracting multiples of 10. Now, before we get started with today's strategy, I want to go over some words that you're going to hear me say a lot. And you may get a little confused as to what they are. The first vocabulary word that we have is open number line. Now, we used an open number line before when we added, and when we add on an open number line, we start at the left side of the number line and we count forward on the number line. Well, we're subtracting, so when you subtract, the numbers get smaller. So we're going to start on the right side of the number line, and we're going to count backwards. Counting backwards is very, very important when you're subtracting, because when you count backwards, the numbers get smaller. When you subtract, the numbers get smaller. Now, we're also going to be using the word jump. Now, jump is not physically jump, but when we jump on an open number line, that's right, we count by tens, because a hop means you're counting by ones, that's right, and then a jump means you're counting by tens. So when we say jump on the number line, that means you are taking a big jump over 10 numbers. Now a hop is just little. You can only go one number at a time. But a jump means you're going over 10 numbers. So today we're actually just going to be jumping. So I hope your legs are ready, guys, because we're going to do a lot of jumping today. Now, let's take a look at some equations that we can solve using an open number line. Now, if you notice, an open number line is open. That means it doesn't tell you where to start. It doesn't tell you how many times to hop, how many times to jump, and it doesn't even show where you stop. You have to use the equation to figure out where to start, what direction you're going, and how many times you're going to have to jump or hop to get there. So that's why there's nothing on this open number line. You have to use the equation to figure out what to put on the number line. Now, up at the top, you notice that I've written the numbers 10, 20, 30, 40. What comes next? 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Very good. That is counting by, what is it? That's counting by tens. Very good. Give yourself a round of applause for that one. Good job. Good job. So the reason I wrote these on here, and parents, you may want to do this as well on a piece of paper, is sometimes it's really difficult for us to mentally count backwards by 10. So if we can visually see what family comes before the number that we're starting with, that helps us to count by tens better. So if you need to write these out on a piece of paper so that you can visually see what families are coming after, are coming before, because when we talk about before, that means the numbers are getting smaller. So we're going to talk about what numbers come before the number we start with. So let's take a look at our first equation. Our first equation has 50 take away 20 equals blank. Now, what do we already know? That's right, we know that the whole is 50. So when you subtract, you always start with the biggest number. 50 is our biggest number. So that's where our number line is going to start. So the whole tells us where to start. Now remember, earlier I said when we're subtracting, we don't start on the left of the number line. We're going to start on the right and count backwards. So I'm going to mark 50 on my number line. So there's 50. Let's move this up a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. Awesome sauce. Now, here we have 50. Now this sign is that's right, minus Linus. That's a takeaway sign. This tells us what direction we are traveling. So when we have a subtraction sign, we're going to count backwards, okay? So this tells me we're going to go backwards. So we're going this way, okay? Now, the next number is the part. That's right, that's what we learned yesterday. We have a whole, then we have a part, and then we have a part. So this is one of our parts. And this part is very, very special because it's telling us how many times to jump. Now, how did you know that we were jumping? That's right, because it ends in a 0. And it only has 2 10s and 0 1s. So this tens place is going to tell us how many times to jump. So let's look at what we already know just from these numbers. We know where to start. We know what direction we're going. And we know how many times that we're going to jump. So let's show that on the number line. So this is 50. We start at 50. We're going to jump. That's right. We're going to jump back 2 times because 2 10s is the same as 20. So let's do that. So there's 50 and we go 1, 2. Now, are we finished? Nope, because we don't know where we landed. So this is going to tell us where we landed. So each of these jumps are worth how many? That's right. It's a big jump, so they're both worth 10. Now, if I know that I start at 50, and I'm going to count back 1 10. So if I go up here to where I've written my numbers, which I hope that you've done the same, if you need to, you go to 50, and if we go back 1 10, where did we land? That's right, 40. So this jump landed us on 40. But we've got one more jump to go. So if we go to 40 and we jump back 10 more numbers, here's 40, jump back another 10. Where did we land? That's right, 30. So what's our answer? The difference of 50 take away 20 equals 30. Awesome job. Very nice. I think that deserves a silent cheer for our first time. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now let's take a look at this one. 90 take away 30 equals blank. I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to think about where to start. Are you ready? Now, where do we start? What number do we start with on our number line? That's right, we start with the first number. That's the whole. We start with 90. Are we going to start on the left of the number line, or are we going to start on the right of the number line? Let's Right, we're going to start on the right because we're subtracting, so we've got to count backwards. If we started here and tried to count backwards, there's no room to count backwards. So we have to start on the right, and we are going to count backwards because this subtraction sign tells us we're going that way. So let's mark our open number line at 90, and then we're going to count back how many times? That's right, we're going to count back 3 times because 30 is 3 tenths. Now we're going to jump or we're going to hop. Now remember, jumps are big. This is a jump. And then this is a hop. So are we going to jump or are we going to hop? That's right, we're going to jump 3 times because 3 tenths is the same as 30. So let's do that on our number line. 1, 2, 3. Are we finished? Nope, because we don't know where we landed. So let's take a look. If we started at 90, let's go up here to our numbers. There is 90. So if I count back 110, where am I? 80. Very nice. Now, let's think. What family comes before our 80s? Let's look up here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. There's 80. So let's count back one family. What is that? That's your 70s. So we're going to put 70. Now, are we finished? Nope. We've got one more jump to do. So what family comes before your 70s? Let's go up here and go back 110. Where did we land? That's right, 60. So the difference of 90 take away 30 equals 60. Awesome job, awesome job. Let's see, let's do the looking good chair. Are you ready? So we make our mirror. We go ch, ch, ch. Girls, fix your hair. Boys, back it up in the front. There you go. And you go, ooh, looking good. Great job. We got one more to go. You guys are doing fabulous. Now, the next one says 60 take away 50 equals blank. Now, where do we start on the number line? What number do we start with? That's right. We start with the 60 because that is the whole. Now, are we going to start on the left of the number line? Or are we going to start on the right of the number line? We're going to start on the right because we are subtracting. Very good. We're going to count backwards because subtracting means we're counting backwards. So 60, count back 50. Now, are we going to do 50 little hops backwards? No way, because I don't know about you, but my legs would be super tired if I did 50 little hops. So, instead of doing the little hops, we are going to do the jumps. That's right. So we are going to start at 60, and we are going to jump backwards 5 times. You ready? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow, look at those jumps. Each of these jumps are worth 10, 10, 10, 10. Now, you don't have to write those 10s on there. That's just a little reminder that, hey, these are not hops. These are jumps. So, a froggy did these things, not a little tiny bunny rabbit, okay? These are jumps. So, let's take a look at what numbers we've jumped on. So, if we started with 60, and we count back 10. Where did we land? 70? No, wrong direction. If we start at 60, we count back 10. We land on 50. Very nice. And then